My motivation is for the underdog. And my granddad said, Will, the object is not to make $1 million, it's to make $1 1,000,000 times.
Maybe they look around and they kind of wake up about what is going on and the direction of their family and the direction of some of the people around them. Was there somewhere along the line, did someone give you a shot? Did someone give you a chance?
It was my mother. You don't know that feeling. Do you remember the days when you got your 4 or 5 on the side, you saying it'll be easier to blow my brains out than keep going in this? Only the people that reach greatness know what I'm talking about. The richest man in the world, ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first person to tell you, the richest man in the world is not the man with millions of dollars in his bank account. It's the man that comes home to a family, a dinner table, a home that he provided, that he built.
How did you find that you filled those roles, like even intentionally or not, the masculine role that every young child, man or woman, needs?
And I get on the field, start playing linebacker, I start realizing I'm hitting him, he crying. You hitting me, I'm laughing. You feel what I'm saying? My dad was like, that's why I don't get mad at my dad. Like, Pops, look, you made me a gladiator. I don't want to die. I'm not going to die ever.
Yeah, you like that quote that you saw in there. I'd rather be dead than average, right?
Eventually, that kid that's sitting in that garage shooting that podcast is going to be a big star. Because he going to keep going when everybody else going to stop.
They're like, we got Wesley Snipes.
No cap. I finally realized what they were.
Oh, that's great. Like, here, throw these sunglasses on real quick. You're like, wait, what?
Like, could you hold this sword the whole time? Like, what? I don't get it, but okay.
You don't know how many times, and every man had his moment. When you talking to your wife, she say, stop yelling at me. And you're like, I'm not yelling. This is my passion. When I say don't take money from your dream, I'm saying don't sell your dream to anybody.
What if it's for $500 million? No, I'm kidding. Clip that right there.
So how do you tell somebody to get over that one thing? You know, again, like it's their identity now.
You got to be addicted to this. Whatever you love. I tell everybody, you addicted to cocaine, you addicted to marijuana, you addicted to alcohol, you addicted to all these things, but when are you going to become addicted to your dream? The Powerproject, started by a king with only a dream. A dream to lift life over his shoulders and be the greatest version he's ever been. The Powerproject. You won't ever forget it. Woo!
Powerproject family, how's it going? I want to talk to you guys about Within You supplements, which is developed by Mark Bell. The cool thing about Within You is that it's not a crazy supplement line which has a crazy amount of unnecessary supplements. They stick to what is necessary. Whey protein, electrolytes, and the electrolytes are dope because they have amino acids and they have zinc. Then there's fasting gum. So we talk a lot about intermittent fasting on the podcast, and this fasting gum has apigenin, rutin, and caffeine, which can actually help you prolong a fast. It's really freaking cool. It was developed by Mark and Joel Green, who we've had on the podcast multiple times. So you guys got to check it out. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at markbellslingshot.com. And at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject10 to save 10% off your entire order. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
Did the crank turn on?
The crank turned, yeah.
Set the timer.
Do it.
You sure we're recording? Because we don't want to lose this
Trust
podcast
me,
like we did the last one.
I checked 18 times already.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, we're good.
So what's up, my man? You're down in Los Angeles right now?
Yeah, man, we down there working, doing a little promo tour, man. I'm on a full mission, man, to inspire this world, man, at its darkest hour. I feel like the world is at its darkest place right now. Love, unity, morals, respect, integrity, standing on code, standing on your word as a man. It's a lost art in the world right now, you know, and like I said, Les Brown said, he told me a quote about Bob Marley. He said, if the devil don't take a day off, then why should I? Mm-hmm. So I'm working every day, baby. Every day.
I think I've always felt that like fitness and strength training, like I've been lucky to be a part of it for so long. 2 older brothers that kind of forced me into it. They told me I was a pussy if I didn't do it. So I try to do it and try to live up to some of their expectations. But down the road, as I got into it more, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is like a secret. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody else knows about like what this can do for your body, your mind, your spirit. Why do you think so many fitness people are gravitating towards your stuff? Because I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing them clip your voice and then put it to something that they're doing with their workouts. Like I'm seeing it all over the place. So it's pretty amazing.
So one thing I feel like my motivation is for the underdog. And a lot of people in fitness that go to the gym and work out every day, they're trying to change something. Mm-hmm. They want to be more. They want to love themselves more. They want the world to love them more. But in the process of working out, they realize that the only love they ever needed was the love of self. And as you train, you build confidence, right? You'll see that timid individual walk into the gym and they have no confidence. They have no belief in themselves. But once they see a man like Mark, they say, yo, one thing about a bodybuilder or a heavyweight lifter, they're just human beings. They're just men that said, I want to be greater than what I was born. And I think my motivation speaks to the individual that starts off with nothing. Starts off with just a thought, just a small glimpse of what they can be. And sometimes I tell everybody, I'm not no Messiah. I'm not God, because that is a very special man. I'm not any of those things. I'm like an alarm clock. I just remind you of the greatness that you have inside of you.
Go fuck, there it is again.
There you go.
Time to go to work.
Absolutely.
If you rewind time 10 years ago, I was that person that you just described. And funny enough, well, I guess not funny enough, just again, we were talking about that universe. I listened to your voice every single day. Like I would go to the gym and it's like, I got to put that YouTube clip on. It was the one where the dude was on the beach and you were talking about when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll find success.
Wait,
I think
that was you?
I think you got it mixed up with.
Yeah, that's
Eric Thomas.
That's Eric Thomas.
Oh shit, my
Eric
bad.
Thomas, Eric Thomas.
Now I feel terrible. So.
You good. We get that. I always get that resemblance, and you don't feel no way, K, because everybody says the same thing.
Okay.
It's similar, but when you listen to my work, when you go into depth, like my Pain and Purpose album.
Yep, I've heard.
When you go into depth of that, you'll start to hear the distinctive difference between me and him. See, me, I'm like the guy on Batman, Banta Kane. I was born in the darkness. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when the difference between me and a lot of other speakers, bro, you might listen to other speakers with your ears, but can you feel it in your soul? I study speakers like Earl Nightingale, Jim Rome, mm-hmm. Les Brown,
mm-hmm.
T.D. Jakes.
Those people are mentors of mine.
Yeah.
But from a distance. Never met any of them. They're YouTube mentors
Then
of
you
mine.
think about one of my favorite. This is what the world don't know. One of my favorite speakers of all time, the favorite, Myles Munroe. An absolutely phenomenal.
Write that down.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know who that is. Yeah.
Myles Munroe. Yeah, the world didn't want anybody to know about. Myles Munroe died in a accidental plane crash. Flying over the Bermuda Island. And the person who taught me about Myles Munroe is Les Brown. Mm-hmm. Les Brown told me that Myles Munroe was one of the greatest speakers that ever graced the earth. He was definitely sent from God. Myles Munroe has a legendary speech where he talks about two lions. And this is a message I want to give to somebody out here. It's about two lions and a group of hyenas. And what happened was it was one lion walking along in the jungle and there's like 100 hyenas attacked him. And this is where I learned the value of a team, Myles Munroe. And the hyenas was attacking the lion, and one more lion came and every single one of those hyenas ran away. 2 lions versus 100 hyenas is more dangerous than 100 hyenas. So when I talk about motivation, I don't want to be Tony Robbins. I don't want to be Earl Nightingale. I don't want to be T.D. Jakes. I don't want to be Les Brown. I want to be the underdog. the project kid that grew up mother on heroin and father a career criminal. I want to be an example for all the poor kids growing up that feel like they don't have a voice, or they feel like where they at is where they're gonna stay forever. This is heavy as the head that wears the crown. I got a responsibility. I'm 32 years old. And right now, there's no leadership in the world. You just have a whole bunch of podcasts and speakers that's telling you how great you can be, but they're not with you when you're hurting and you at your worst. That's why I go to Compton, Carson High School with my brother Mike Evans and speak to those kids. You know? That's why I go to the Crenshaws. That's why I go to the Baltimores. That's why I go to the Chicagos. And where I was first inspired at was at a Tony Robbins conference. It had a gold, silver, and bronze package. I was in the bronze, took my last $50 to get this ticket, and I snuck to the silver. I saw some open seats in the silver, and I went to the silver seat, and what I realized is Tony Robbins was speaking. He was at the gold, and then he got to the silver. He spoke briefly to the bronze, and he turned around. And God whispered to me, he said, Will, who focuses on the broken? Who focuses on the people that's hungry, mothers that can barely feed their children or get even cough syrup? Who focuses on them? Then I asked God in my head, I said, God, but if I go this direction, God, how am I supposed to make a living for my family? A statement from my grandfather popped up in my head. And you got to understand, in life, God will send you signs and pieces through your whole life. And all those pieces you remember, you will never forget. And my granddad said, Will, the object is not to make $1 million, it's to make $1 1,000,000 times. Just make $1 1,000,000 times. Then, when I focused on celebrity, I said, what is the celebrity, the celebrity of today doing right now? They're sitting in a seat that's only made for God. You see, a star is a lonely individual. If you look in the sky, a star sets alone, apart from the rest of the stars. It's one galaxy, but imagine if the stars came together, what did it look like in the sky? One of the most beautiful sights you will ever see in your life. And what I realized is if a LeBron James get out his car in the middle of Baltimore or the middle of Chicago or the middle of Detroit and walk up to a basketball court as he riding past to go to this podcast or this meeting and get out and say, yo, Kings, y'all the greatest. Get back in the car and ride off. He just created 100 more LeBron James. He just showed those young kings how to go get it and come back and inspire. In our community, the African-American community, we get it, and we went without so long, we don't want to share. It's like they put them in a small hole with one piece of cheese, and once the cheese was eaten, they started to eat each other. So when I come out and when I'm speaking, I'm always going to speak real. Rather, I'm not going to tell you what's popular to today. I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with today. And right now, what's wrong with today is love, unity, racism, and a bunch of other things. But the number one thing that we need more than all is love. Understanding that we all are one human being. And it's our duty to come together. This life as human beings, this is God's puzzle. And all of us is just a piece. And if we come together and we put all the pieces together, we'll see the big picture that God wanted us to see. But it's powerful people that keep us from putting these pieces together. They kill pieces. That's why things don't change, because the pieces that's needed to change is dead. So if you look at what God did, God died for us. He died for us. And what you think, we made in the image and likeness of God, so we are gods. We're not the God, but we are gods. And what do gods do? Gods put their life on the line for individuals that's not strong enough to fight for themselves. That's what gods do. They sacrifice themselves.
You mentioned earlier that your mom was hooked on heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk us through some of that, some of the early days? Because I heard you on a podcast say that you one day realized that your family tree was rotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times people, maybe they know some of this stuff, or maybe they kind of realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they look around and they kind of wake up about what is going on and the direction of their family and the direction of some of the people around them. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people don't feel that they can change it. What do you think was different about you? Like, was there some sort of example out there for you that you saw? You played football and you were a linebacker and stuff like that. Was there somewhere along the line, did someone give you a shot? Did someone give you a chance to make you allow yourself to feel good enough to get on a roll, to get momentum?
It was my mother. It was my mother. It was a strength that she had to fight. She was molested by her father as a kid and used drugs to cover the pain. She never got help. But I remember nights when, I'm going to tell you, it was a time when my mom had a job at a senior citizen home. One of the first jobs I ever seen her have in my life. She went to work every day. I would see her get up early in the morning and fix her bag. She would go in, take care of those people every single day. And she finally had the opportunity to take us to Blockbuster some weekends and get some movies and go down to Big Mama's house and get a pizza. And we sat in the living room and a nacho, and we'd sit in the living room and we'd eat it together. That was our Disneyland. And one day they took that job from her because she didn't have a high school diploma. Caused her to go back into drugs heavy. And that's when I was inspired. That's when I knew that it's people out here fighting to save their lives and the world fights against them. It's mothers and fathers that could still be here if the world had more compassion. So what happened was God created everything about William King Hollis as a young man. I understood what greatness was. Greatness is taking the pain for other people, for the other people can live on. Without my mother's sacrifice, the world wouldn't know William King Hollis. Without my mother telling me, go to school, stay focused. Even as a drug dealer, a drug addict, she still took care of me. I didn't run. She still took, she was a functioning addict. We would go to park sometimes and she'd go and sit with her friend on the bench and they'd do their drugs while we play, get us snacks, but I didn't think about her doing the drugs. I thought about my mama got me snacks, she set me up nice, and I'm taking care of the rest of this. I had to realize that life will eat you up, man. It gets the best of us. Like I was telling these group of kids in Compton the other day, I said, you cry about not having a father. I ain't cry about not having no father. Only thing I cried about is my opportunities that I miss out on. I told the kid, I said, you cry about your father, but if God gave you a decision, he gave you two choices. He said, I'll give you life with no father or no life at all. What you picking? I want life. I got an opportunity. And that's what a lot of people don't think about every day they wake up. They got an opportunity to be something. I don't care if you in a shelter sleeping on your homeboy couch, you don't got nothing. You are at your greatest version when you have nothing. Because it creates a different type of mentality. And my mentor, the person that taught me to be a warrior, is my mother, a 5'7" Black woman. That's who made me who I am. When I seen her reading the Bible, when I seen her writing down her scriptures, through it all. She showed me God. One thing she made me real, God is real, son. Even when I'm doing wrong, son, I got God with me. It's a quote that's going around on Instagram where it say, I ain't always been with you, God, but you always been with me. Everything you see about William King Hollis, I'm over 900 million views on YouTube, history in Milan, all of these things. And I started 8 years ago in a parking lot in Huntsville, Alabama, after my floor caved in, sitting in the back of a Taurus. And they say, yo, King, fly out to Italy and make history. That's why I can't never really sit around and act like I'm no big time, big shot guy. I'm just a regular guy, like the regular guys that walk in these gyms every day that wanted to be better than where he came into the world. And we look for that thing to give us that rush, to give us that fulfillment in life. My fulfillment is watching other kings just like me that was the underdog be the greatest. And I do it with pride, and I root my brothers on, and I support kings, and I love people winning. Got a hating bone in my body. I'm as stubborn as they come. Learn to admit my flaws and understand myself as a man. Because my grandfather said, Will, you will never understand yourself as a man until you learn how to take constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. I'm fighting every day to learn it. And I know it's a lot of men listening that's learning the same thing. But sometimes when we growing up on our own, doing it on our own, and nobody ever telling us, not even a father ever telling us what to do. When we get in the industry, we like, man, who are you talking to? You know where I slept for this? I slept on concrete for this. Everybody can come around when the empire is grown and big, but do you remember the days when it was nothing, brother? You don't know that feeling. Do you remember the days when you got your 4-5 on the side, you saying it'll be easier to blow my brains out than keep going in this? Only the people that reach greatness know what I'm talking about. And when they got there and they got everything they wanted, they realized they was chasing something that they wanted as a child. Guess what that was? A family. You know, some kids in my neighborhood, you know some of their dreams is to come home and eat dinner at a dinner table.
Get a hug. Right?
Yeah. That's the truth. We got to get back to the simple things. The richest man in the world, ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first person to tell you, the richest man in the world is not the man with millions of dollars in his bank account. It's the man that comes home to a family, a dinner table, a home that he provided, that he built. That's why I call you a king. Either it's an apartment, a Volvo, a Lamborghini, you're still a king because it's yours. You build it. You built it, you earned it, you grind for it. So it means something. Don't matter. Remember that. The richest man is the man that got a family, man. That's the richest man. You spend half your life on the road doing all this business and all of these things, that paper, that contract, that Lamborghini, that house will not remember you more than your children.
Do you get a lot of yeah buts when you go in and you give a speech and you talk to young kids? Do you get a lot of yeah buts?
Honestly, no. I get a lot of, you changed my life.
I love it.
Because it's like the best thing God has done for me. A lot of people don't know, I don't write speeches. Everything comes from the heart. So even when I go to major events, I don't write speeches. I feel the energy in the room and I'm going to give you what God tell me to give you. And a lot of these kids, it's like God gives me the ability to literally see into their minds. I can see the pain on the kid's face. I can see when I say something, it hits a string. That string in your body, it'll hit their body sometimes. I see it on their body. You'll see the glistening of the eyeballs, the tears coming. Then you ramp it up. This is my mentality when I go speak. I look at it like it's 1 million people standing on a 10,000 foot cliff. and I got 45 minutes to talk him off it. When you go in with that type of mentality, like, dog, I gotta save his life, Mark. I gotta save their life. Not him, but all of them. And when you finish that speech, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, what? That's the greatest speech I ever heard.
I'm curious about this, man, because I mean, I was also raised by a single mom. She was 5'5", but she also like just raised me on scripture. She worked. I was able to see that, and she is the hardest working person I've ever met. But as I got older, you know, I was lucky that she did manage to put me on teams, right, where I was around other boys, around coaches that were men. So I still got that input somewhat. A lot of my coaches I looked at as father figures, right? Yes, so I'm wondering, for you were raised by a single parent. How did you find that you filled those roles, like even intentionally or not, the masculine role that every young child, man or woman, needs? And then what do you see when you're talking to kids who, like, let's say that they don't have fathers, and you know, a tendency is like, without realizing it, young boys will repeat the things that their fathers did because no one taught them otherwise, or they didn't get that input. So how's that been for you?
I think what turned me into a man's man is waking up hearing my dad sneak through a window, fighting my mother, blood on him from my mom getting people to jump him, and walking out seeing bloody T-shirts, and you would turn into a gladiator. Your father taking you around the neighborhood, you fighting other drug dealer sons on command. If you don't whoop his ass, I'm whooping your ass, you know what I mean?
Shit.
Turn into a gladiator. You ain't scared of no fight. It's like what? That's what I like to do. That's the number one thing I like to do. So you don't threaten me with fun. So it'll become a part of your DNA. Then when you get off in the world and you start to realize, I start thinking about my pops, and I get on the field, start playing linebacker, I start realizing I'm hitting him, he crying. You hitting me, I'm laughing. You feel what I'm saying? My dad was like, that's why I don't get mad at my dad. Like, Pops, look, you made me a gladiator amongst men. Because he knew, my pops knew, he realized, he told me, he's like, well, I didn't expect to live that long. That's what people don't realize. I gave you what I had to give you. Because I didn't expect to live long. The story of my father was an All-American defensive end, 6'4", ran a 4.4 in the 40, went to the University of Indiana. On his way back from school for spring break, my Uncle Oliver was supposed to pick him up, talk to him on the phone. My Uncle Oliver gets shot up, murdered in Pontiac, Michigan on his way back. So when he get there, supposed to be meeting his brother, at the station, he found out that his brother has been assassinated. That changed my pop's whole life. My pops could have been in the National Football League. William Hollis could have been the NFL son. I could have been all of that. But just like that, my pops became a terror. His best friend, his baby brother, was murdered after getting off the phone with him. What is that as a brother, as a real gladiator? What you think that gladiator gonna do?
Get back.
So that one moment in my whole family life, it rotten my whole family tree. It took the happiness out of my family. And my dad had his mother and his father. So he knew the benefit of having your mother and your father. He knew. But he also knew that when his brother died, he died. You see, it's individuals, and I get it from my father, that love other people probably more than they love themselves. Some people call it a bad thing, but I call it just the heart of God. God loves you more than he loves himself. And that's what I tell people. I love my people. And I love the people who stand for righteous individuals. I love people that stand for the right thing. I love them more than I love myself. I'm never supposed to love myself more than I love the world. I don't believe in that. Some people are addicted to taking. And some people are addicted to giving. I'm an individual that's addicted to giving. Some people, if they can't give, they can't breathe. Some people, if they can't take from you, they can't breathe. So you got to understand, I understood this, that I can't judge any man or any father because I don't know what they went through in this journey. And as a man grows, he starts to understand that it's not easy being a man. You got to earn that.
You're about to find out, though. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got a baby on the way, right?
A baby boy. I actually got 2 girls. I got 2 little girls already. Halo and Nia. Love you, babies. And
I'll turn you into men real quick.
And I got my my baby boy on the way. Shout out to my wife, Sharita. Doing January 10th. Naming him King William Hollis. That's his name. And I'm just excited, man. I'm giving him his own name, man, his own legacy. And man, I'm excited to be, the best father that I could possibly be in the life that God has given me, to travel and do all these things. But I'm just so happy that God put these type of feelings in my heart when it comes to, my children and the people that I love. I understand that I'm a king that's gonna travel the world speaking to a lot of kings, and it's my job. I must do it.
Where'd this whole king thing start?
Oh man! So one day in the living room with my mom, I was watching Michael Jackson "Remember the Times" video came on, and it had Eddie Murphy and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was sitting on that throne, and everybody loved Mike. And I told my mom, I was like, "What's Mike? What's he playing? What is that?" My mom said, "That's a king." So since 6, 7 years old, I've been calling myself king. I've been calling my friends kings. Also, for a linebacker to bump his head a lot, it really helps me not butcher names. Everybody is king. King.
Yeah. What ended up happening with football, though?
Huh?
What ended up happening with football?
I cracked my L1 vertebrae. Just playing football the wrong way. When I was coming up in Little League, a lot of people don't know this. When you come up in Little League, man, we was coached by drug dealers, bro. It was they ain't teach us no technique. It was like go get him, fam. Go knock his head off. Knock his head. What's the technique, coach? What's the play? So we came up like that, and then we get to college. It's kind of hard, during those.
Try to stay a little closer to the mic. I know you're fired up.
It's time. At that younger age, like we were just talking about a little prior before the interview.
Yeah.
It's a certain age. At that younger age is when you learn the proper everything. When I came down to California, they got track classes where the kids learning how to run proper. We in the Midwest, man. Ain't none of that. And then, go playing in the hood, the drug dealers want to get in on the game. They knocking the wind out of the kid. We kids. So they knocking the wind out of us across the snow on the ground. So I go out with me. I play against my age group. I was like, this is a breeze. This is easy, man. Everybody got that moment. Remember the first time you got the air knocked out?
Oh, yeah.
I remember this dude named Mike in my old neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
I was running down the sideline, King, and the street was right here. And he came up speed and blew me into the street, knocked me into the street, King.
Jesus Christ.
Couldn't breathe. And I was like,
That's
okay.
a scary feeling. People put your hands over your head. You're like, what? You're like,
So,
I don't know if that works, but they tell you to put your hands over your head.
So, growing up, man, that's the same thing with basketball. A lot of kids go up and playing with the dope dealers and going in. Once you go through that, man, that's like gladiator school. And then you get into college and you get into Little League and you do all that. Like, man, let's go, man. You got grown man strength at 17. Let's get it. And but that's where I really instilled. I really can say, man, nobody even asked me this question. I can say that I wouldn't change nothing, man, on how I was brought. I think everything that happened to me as a child and as a man, it made me who I am. I couldn't have had this mentality. I couldn't be so, confident about myself. Because you got to be confident. This generation, everybody wants you to dumb it down and talk about, you know who created, I believe a man should be humble and treat people beautifully. But if you're a great fucking man or woman, appreciate being a great fucking man or woman, because it ain't easy. And a lot of people who try to dumb you down is people that couldn't accomplish this great shit. You know what I mean? They try to like, no, you step it up.
Be humble.
Yeah, you step it up. Because I'm telling you, man, to channel the human spirit to be one of the best in the world, bro, it is a godlike energy that you must obtain, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know about other people. I only got a moment. I don't want to die average. I don't want to die. I'm not going to die average.
Yeah, you like that quote that you saw in there. I'd rather be dead than average, right?
I don't want to die average. I want to die phenomenal, man. I want to die a legend. And that's the main goal. And it's a quote that I read every morning about Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It says, the moment you believe you made it, it's the moment you started at the beginning.
When you were younger, man, when did you figure out that you wanted to speak, like that you wanted to speak to people? Because some people think that, oh, it's like just a talent some people have, but you know, I would assume you really worked at it. But you're 32 right now, meaning you've been doing this for years and you're amazing at it. But who told you, or how'd you figure that out?
I was just asked to volunteer down in Reading, Pennsylvania. I cracked my vertebrae, ended up homeless in Philly. Start coaching. Shout out to Coach Bernie Nortowski out in Reading, Pennsylvania. I was down in Dover, Delaware, and I was putting suicidal little quotes on Facebook in my statuses. You know, I was really going through it, man. Football, I have nothing. And Coach Bernie Nortowski, I broke the single game sack record on Mother's Day against him the year before. I had I think it was like five sacks in arena ball. That's a lot. Damn. And you know, I had a great game, and he remembered. He was like, William, what's going on? He messaged me. I said, Coach, I'm homeless. I didn't even tell him my back was cracked. I was like, I need a team. So I was still gonna play with a cracked vertebrae. So when I went down there, he put me in a house in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Marcus Colston owned the Harrisburg Stampede, the former wide receiver for the Saints. He actually had a house that we all came and stayed in. I stayed in. I was training. And you know, that's where I found out I had the L1 vertebrae crack. Like it was over with. Like I was deadlifting, and like my whole back went out. Like the weight almost like literally just fell on my whole like right leg. Just was gone, King, like rubber. And it came back over time. I sat down for like 15 minutes, and the feeling came back. And I was working with our team chiropractor. He got the x-rays, and they're like, oh yeah, L1 vertebrae crack. So I told him not to tell the coach because I needed somewhere to live. I was homeless. I was still gonna play the season, bro. And this guy, 2 weeks before the season started, Marcus Colston canceled the team. Tell me that ain't crazy. I was about to play and I was gonna be a paraplegic probably, man, paraplegic. Shit. Yeah. And God, he folded the team. Team did not go through. So I moved to Reading, Pennsylvania, where the coach stayed at, start living in the basement. Start coaching the ASI Panthers. My defensive line was the number 1 defensive line in the league that year. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah. I love coaching. You know, throughout the season, I left. I said, I got to get out. I can't sleep in this basement. And I'm going to go over to this hotel, just thug it out. I'm going to sneak around in the room.
Fucking cold as hell in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to sneak around in the hotel. I'm going to sneak around. I'm going to get, I was at the Abraham Lincoln Hotel. It's a historic hotel, downtown Reading, Pennsylvania, man. Al Capone, everybody done been through there, bro. Yeah. It's been balls, all kinds of stuff there. Probably hunted for sure. So I'm in there every night. And I'm sneaking in, and then one night I get caught. I had to go out, and I slept out by the Turkey Hill gas station. One of the principals that saw me coaching at the game saw how I spoke to the players, said she liked how I spoke and said, can you come speak to a group of athletes for me? 5 young men at Reading Intermediate High School. It's a high school where most kids can't function. So I went and spoke. Within 5 minutes, they was in tears. I walked out to school. getting ready to go commit suicide. It was the first time I ever talking about my story. It was like amazing what I felt. It's scary at the same time what I felt telling my story for the first time. And when I went and told it, I was walking back 5 minutes before I got to the hotel, literally commit suicide, bro. Literally. I was gonna do it on my mother's grave, bro. And she called me and said, Will, how much you charge to speak? 5 minutes before I got to I was walking back to the hotel. How much you charge to speak? I said $75, $100. Went back to assembly at $500, standing ovation. You fast forward 9 years from then, from today, over 900 million views on YouTube, #1 football speech in the world, platinum spoken word album, history in Milan. I can't make it up. It's nobody but God, bro. I use nothing. Everything I got from my voice. Is by speaking.
You practice this a lot? Like, you must be thinking about it a lot. You walked in here and you're like, this is giving me ideas.
I actually don't. My manager will tell you, bro, I'm one of the most unorthodox speakers you'll ever see, bro. I could be chilling. I could be doing anything, but God acted. It's my gift, bro. I can't lie to you. It's just like Jay-Z freestyle all his messages. It's my gift to do this. I'm a storyteller. And I know how to speak to the next generation. You know, I know how to get their attention. I know how to hold their attention, and I know how to simplify some of the most complicated things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are buying into that. Like I said, I gotta go. Like I'm changing motivation. My motivational albums. I plan on having motivational concerts with smoke, music, not just that boring seminar talk where you just I'm talking about pure motivation, bro. I'm talking about they gonna want to bring their bench press to the event. You hear me? That's the type of events I'm creating. I want the new. I tell everybody, man, y'all focus on recreating the wheel, baby. Who recreating the new? We got to create the new. The world is looking for something it's never seen before, and every single human being got something in them that the world has never seen before.
Yeah, if you go to a concert, especially with somebody that's really talented,
yes,
you're inspired and moved and motivated. Like, you can't help it.
Yes.
Right?
So that's how I look at motivation. It needs a new fitness. And shout out to all my fitness guys around the world, man. I had an idea, man. And shout out to all my fitness people worldwide, especially my brother Mark. I'm sorry, guys. I got to get in the gym. I got to get in there and start lifting them weights again, because the community of weightlifters and training, the people that's training all around the world, man, you guys inspire me so much. One of my favorite stories is the story of the guy that created 5 Hour Energy. His story is absolutely amazing, man. And when I look at his story and I look at fitness, it's something same thing as bodybuilding. You know, I get a little bigger, come back next year. I get a little bigger, and I come back next year. I get a little bigger, and then he started off with these small little package, these small little cups of this juice, and he started coming with the whole thing. And if you take one bite and one sip at a time, baby, you will become the whole drink. You just gotta keep biting. And I tell people the only way you not gonna make it is if you quit.
Yep.
That's the only way you won't make it. Eventually, that kid that's sitting in that garage shooting that podcast is gonna be a big star. Cause he gonna keep going when everybody else gonna stop. That's what people don't understand. You think you're not making it, but it's somebody debating quitting, and it's gonna put you in front of them. Somebody gonna quit. Somebody gonna give up. Somebody gonna get hit by life. Somebody is not gonna be able to operate in chaos. You gotta learn to operate in chaos. My whole life is chaos, but look at this smile.
Stunning.
I'm happy, man, because I'm breathing. Look at all our brothers we lost during the pandemic. Look at all our friends we lost in life so far. Like why are we not happy? Why we not enjoying this moment, beautiful, small little moment that we got on earth to do whatever we want to do and make it happen? I tell everybody, cut the rules out of your life, man. The first rule is no rule. I ain't got no rules. Only one made my rules is God, and they written down. They written down.
Remember, I was telling you I was doing a cooking show a little while back, teaching people how to cook. That was rule number 1 in my kitchen, was that there are no rules, no limiting beliefs.
That's what I actually got that from Philip Plein in Italy, man. That was his logo, his slogan for the event. The first rule is no rule. That's how I started the event in Italy.
What was this event? Because you mentioned it a few times. So what was this event?
This
in
was
Italy?
Milan
How come we're not
Fashion.
going to Italy?
Man, this was actually Milan Fashion Week.
Oh,
Yes,
shit.
bro. I made
Crazy.
history. Milan, I was like I told you, I was at that apartment, floor caved in, my first apartment. So you know I was hurt. I loved it. I had it. It wasn't the nicest, but I had it hooked up in there, King.
Why'd the floor cave in?
Bro, just old. It was just I guess I was the last. It was like, no, you ain't gonna make it. It was a lot of dreams chased to these houses, to these apartments, but you're not gonna chase yours in here no more. So they shut that whole thing is wiped out. But yeah, man, I was sleeping in the back of the tours, and I got a call, man, from Italy, man. Philip Plein assistant was like, yo, we want to fly you to Italy. I hang up. I didn't even believe it was them. And then they called back and I seen a crazy number. It was like, wait, we want to fly you to Italy. So I'm like, okay. I said, so what do you guys want to do? He said, I saw you a motivational speaker. You're on YouTube. We love your voice. We want to get you over and you speak live. Craziest thing in the world. This was the craziest experience ever. So I ain't believe him still. I was like, all right. He was like, send me a picture of your passport. I'm thinking it's a scam. I'm like, I'm not about to send you no picture. But I'm like, shit, I'm outside in the car. I got shit to lose. I sent it to him.
Yep.
Man, about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, he sent me back a ticket to Italy. I'm like, oh my God, this shit is real. So I get out there and man, they pick me up. I'm looking like a guy who floor just caved in.
Oh man.
They dressed me up, take me to it. Was literally like, bro, I was like a poor man that walked into the rich world, King. Yeah. And I went over there, they changed my clothes, got me clothes. I got the stylist to get to line me up, get my hair cut right.
You're trying to play it cool the whole time. I'm used to being ushered around from the airport into these nice hotels and wearing nice clothes.
So look, this is I'm gonna tell some never told stories with this stuff, man. Listen. So I get down there, the chef blew my mind, King. So I asked Philip, this is how I know you rich. I went down, I was like, hey, what are we eating, Philip? He said, whatever you want. So I was like, how's it whatever we want? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, go tell the chef whatever you want. Man, when I say this chef went in there, it made me anything I want. I asked for lasagna, bro. I said, I want some turkey lasagna, man. Let me get some turkey lasagna. He was like, coming up. And it comes so fast. I'm like, is it aliens back there? Like, how's this
Where are they getting it from?
Yeah, how's this food coming? And everybody else was just eating. I don't know what it is about Italy and over there, bro, but they love sweets, like little pastries. They eat pastries all day long, bro. I'm like, bro, but they're skinny as hell. I'm like, bro, like, why are you? They clothes are like extra medium. Like it's not even. It's like totally different from America. Like
lots of walking. Yeah.
Like I was like, bro, this is crazy. Yeah. So I finally found something I could wear, which was a little jogging suit for the event. Yeah. We get over to the event, man. I'm in this is a never told story. Never told before story too, man. So I get over to the event. And I put on they got me this dope little, I ain't gonna lie, I call it the Blade coat. It was like the Blade had a Gucci long designer designer jacket. Now I realize they was trying to get me look like Blade. So they had me.
They really did that. Oh man.
They're like, we got Wesley Snipes.
No cap. I finally realized what they were.
Oh, that's great. Like, here, throw these sunglasses on real quick. You're like, wait, what?
Like, could you hold this sword the whole time? Like, what? I don't get it, but okay.
Why do they want me to stare off into the corner the whole time?
Dog, listen, that coat looked just like the coat. But guess what? The only thing it had, I had a hoodie. I had a hoodie on it.
There you go. Okay.
It was a hoodie on it. So it looked just like that. But I had a hoodie on it, man. And I love this jacket so much. So Philip Plein had a great idea to turn the stage into a nightclub after it was finished. It was the dopest thing I ever seen. So the backstage, it had a gym, a whole ring inside of it. And like it was just set up like a gym. And after the event, everybody came from out the stands and went up into the party mode thing. But I was like, yo, these are some nice ass clothes, fella. I kept telling them that the whole night. I was having a couple drinks. I'm telling them like, bro, this is some nice shit.
Do you let you keep it?
So nice. Look, I told my driver to put my bags in the car before I came to the event. I just went to the airport and flew out. I
was like, where'd all those clothes go?
I was under there, Phil didn't care. They was so drunk. They was so drunk that night, man. I'm walking through there, I'm trying not to drink that much, so I got my whole P's and Q's. So my driver is smiling, bro. The whole time, he was like, you want me to put your bags in the car? I said, yeah, put my bags in the car. Because the driver is like, he from the trenches of Italy. Like, he not from the suburbs either. He's like, okay, put bags in the car. So I put the bags in the car. I'm driving out. He's like, nice outfit. nice. And I was like, thank you, brother, thank you. So I get to the airport. I literally see a couple of the other designers that was in the thing walking through the terminal while I'm leaving. I throw the hood on like Blaze. And went on home, man. $10,000, like 15 minutes, man.
Wow.
Literally.
That was the first time you made that much money, I'm assuming, from a speech?
That's my first paid event.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Holy shit.
That was my first one.
And what a great experience.
Yeah.
Getting all that travel in and everything.
Oh, it's man, I tell everybody, you don't ever say thank you to me. Just FYI, don't ever say thank you to me because, guys, I am having the time of my life inspiring the world, man. Like, it's like, literally, man, I got to pinch myself. Like, I am so blessed, bro. Like, I can't lie, man. Like, and I don't say that because I'm the richest man in the world or none of that. I say that because I found my purpose. You know, I'm rich, man. You know, I found my purpose. I go to sleep happy every night. I'm getting to meet amazing people like Mark and my brother. Shout out to my manager, AJ Brown, man. I'm working with a great team. You know, just finally learning. You know, I was talking to my manager, AJ, the other day. We was talking about, you know, finally making it and, you know, you building it on your own. Mm-hmm. It's a kid out there that's going to miss out on the opportunity. And it's something, I'm not talking to you from me just telling you something, I'm telling you something that I'm working on. You know, you got to allow people to help. You got to allow people to have an opinion. You know, and allow people to work out things that you can't see. That will be beneficial in the future. When it comes to clothes, I want to talk to the younger generation on how you present yourself. It was a episode on Boardwalk Empire. Al Capone was escorting this Jewish man around. And as he was escorting this Jewish man around, the Jewish man kept calling him a boy. And Al Capone kept getting mad. This is a true story. Al Capone kept getting mad. The reason why Al Capone changed the way he dressed. He called him a boy too many times, and then Al Capone got mad and said, why the hell do you keep calling me a boy? And the Jewish man replied, as long as you wear the hat of a boy, you'll always be perceived as a boy, whether you believe it or not. And it was the believe it or not part that really touched me.
It doesn't matter what you believe. It's everyone else's perception of you. Yeah.
Yes, Mark. Yeah. That's what we got wrong. This generation believes people give a hell about what they think of themselves. We don't care. What is the world echoing of you? What is the world echo? If somebody was to tell you to tell a story about yourself, it's going to sound beautiful every time. But let somebody else tell your story and see if it sounds the same. That's the distinctive difference. And the people that can let somebody else tell their story and that story still sounds good, they doing all right for themselves. Mm-hmm. So I tell everybody, man, dress for the occasion. Today I got on a hat, Dickies shirt, some designer jeans, and Jordans. You might see me in a 3-piece suit next week. You never know. You got to dress for the occasion. Dress for the moment. Dress to where you want to go. They say dress for success. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm walking around. I'm looking for some great brothers to bring some impact to the world. I'm not getting nobody who's dressed like the biggest rap artist in the world. I need somebody who's universal. I also want to tell somebody out there listening, when it comes to, especially just like weightlifting, don't get mad when you lose. Jim Rohn said it best, increase your value. That's all you got to do is increase your value. The most beautiful thing you can ever get is a rejection. Hey, okay, you said I can't cut Joe Rogan. I want to go on the Mike Tyson Hotbox podcast too. But the best one I've did is with my brother Mark, the Powerproject. This is the one I always remember. You got to remember the one who was with you before you was everything. Because one day everybody gonna beat down the door. But these are the relationships on the come up. Is the greatest moment in any career. And I believe Mark can say, I bet Mark got so many memories as a young kid walking into a gym anywhere around the world, walking in as the baddest man in the room. Mark,
took a while.
So Mark, that's what I want to ask you, Mark. What does it feel? What does it feel like to walk in a room with all these strong men and they all know that you the legend?
I was just explaining to my son the other day, we went to a concert maybe like 2 years ago, and there was a crazy amount of people there. I don't know, 50,000 people there. And I said, not that it really matters much, but it does feel nice to know that I've outlifted every single person here. It's kind of a cool thing. And then my son did his first jiu-jitsu lesson like a week ago. And I was like, if you advance in jiu-jitsu, if you become proficient at it like Nsima is, you can also recognize you can handle yourself against any one of those people. Maybe not multiple, but you can handle yourself against any one of those people, no matter how big of a crowd you're in. And I think that is special and a very empowering feeling. And I think one of the things as a man is to investigate that power, work on that power, work on being strong, and also have the intelligence not to use it like a barbarian at inappropriate times.
Right.
You use it if it's needed. You have the reserve to use it, but you're not just baited by temptation. That's what weak people do, in my opinion.
Yes, and that's so amazing because I never heard. I heard about jiu-jitsu, fighting, and all of those things that you control. You want to. It's like controlled chaos. You got to be able to control that chaos. And it's different from hearing it from somebody whose background is really in lifting. And that's the same mentality you got to have as lifting, because I realized as a football player, when I was big as shit, running around, just bigger than the average human being, sometimes when I got off the field, I couldn't turn it off.
Well, one thing that you don't realize, being a bigger guy and being physical like you were, you don't recognize how many people are in this world that go around fairly scared every day. They're scared that someone's going to inflict pain or trauma on them, especially if they got beat up in school.
Right.
If you're a skinnier person, you've always had trouble, like Andrew's had a hard time gaining weight. I think that people don't understand. That's a very real internal battle that a lot of people have.
That's fair. That's fair. And I think it's something that need to be taught to athletes as well, man. Even when these trainers building them up to like that. Like, man, people like us, we should exude more love.
Oh, yeah.
Than that heated negative energy, you feel me? Because it scared people like me. My voice, bro, you don't know how many times, and every man had his moment. When you talking to your wife, she say, stop yelling at me. And you're like, I'm not yelling, this is my passion.
This is the way I was born.
Yeah, so I get in trouble with work because my voice so fucking strong. They calling the police if I'm arguing about a fish stick. You hear me? The fish stick down there.
She's like, we're not making a YouTube video right now. Relax.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Police. But yeah, man. But for me, man, like I was saying before, I'm the blessed one. If anybody watching this podcast today And, you know, you've been listening to me for a long while. You've been listening to some of my work. I just want to tell you, thank you for listening to a kid, you know, that started in a shelter, you know, that had little belief in himself, was really depleted. And at my lowest point, God lifted me up to my highest. And the way that I kept going is by doing what he asked me to do, is by serving and not worrying about the money, worrying about the purpose. If
you mentioned not taking money for your dreams. I've heard you talking about that, and also talking about a lot of people have a broke mindset, how being broke isn't just a financial issue, it's a limiting belief system that erodes kind of your whole life sometimes.
So when I say don't take money from your dream, I'm saying don't sell your dream to anybody. Hold on to it. Build it yourself. Because a lot of people, they want to go fast, right? But the best things is done by taking your time.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't never want to sell my likeness. I don't never want to be on the front of a...
What if it's for $500 million? No, I'm kidding. Clip that right there. That was amazing. It's always until, right? Like, there's always a price where you're like,
It was a quick double tap. That's great.
500 million?
yeah.
I can create billions of dreams. That's right. Hey guys, so I just want to tell, I told you guys don't never sell your dream, but guys, if they come for 500 million, take that deal, because we might not get another deal like that again on the table for a very long time. But man, to be honest with you, I got a Master P mentality, man. If they pay me $60,000 per show, imagine what I can make on my own. You know, like it's all about, because if I make more on my own, I can help more people. Nobody can control what I want to do for my people.
Yep.
You got to take the slow route. Ownership is a power in ownership. Ownership means you make the rules.
Yeah, if I pay you, then I might say, hey, I don't want you talking about God, and I don't want you saying this. And you're like, what?
No, that's not cool. Because literally, bro, it's people out here so sick, they got so much money, they'll pay you to stop spreading love in the world, bro.
Yeah.
They'll pay you, they'll kill you to stop. Myles Munroe is one of them. They'll kill you to stop. Like, people don't understand, when you speak life, it don't gotta be about racism and bridging. When you tell people that they have everlasting greatness in them and they start to believe it, you become a target, brother. I've been in Detroit getting off the airplane, bro, guys chasing me in a dark car with guns pointing out the window, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have the ability to speak things in codes to people, and some people can't understand it. You got to be able to speak a decoded language. That's why I tell people I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an activist. I don't even know if I'm a motivator. I don't know what I am.
You get met with resistance sometimes, maybe from parents, when you go to some of these schools?
I'm gonna tell you, parents never. Parents love me. Parents just, I'm keeping it 100. For the average suburban, white kid, they looking at it like, damn, I got it good. Message received. The black kid, damn, I'm living that. Message received. So it goes with everybody. And what I realized is, that's why I want to introduce my book, The Best Gifts Come From the Bottom, to schools all over the world for a new curriculum. The Best Gifts Come From the Bottom curriculum is a curriculum about teaching kids how to tell a story. By telling your story, in my story that I told you guys, it saves your life. It saves your life. So when I walked into that school and told my story, I never thought in a million years that I would start to feel that type of pain. So if you create a classroom setting where you get with students as a teacher, you help them create their stories, because they all have one, give them a tangible product before they go to college.
Yeah.
For the kids that ain't gonna never get no care packages, put your tangible money on Amazon. Let those kids sell a book, get their residual income. And some of those kids can take care of themselves off that book if that book really good. But on top of that, these kids learn how to tell their story. So while the kids telling their stories, we got counselors in the room watching the body language. What did that kid say that shocked his body, that showed me his pain and emotion on his face? That's the part we got to go heal.
Yeah, if you're going to write about your life, you're probably going to cry.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So by able to doing that, not only that, we bring down the rate of suicide amongst younger kids. We create an intangible product, a tangible project that they can sell, and have them a published author before they graduate high school. And then on top of that, bridge the gap between racism, because everybody knows, even playing sports, when you talk to a kid on your team, he might be white, like Hispanic, Chinese, he might be anything. But if we see that our stories relate, we are brothers for life. Mm. That's why telling your story is an important course in the education system. It will help the teachers understand the students.
Oh, yeah.
The students understand the students. And then you'll probably see some change. So that's why I created. I couldn't read till I was 16. This is in Barnes and Nobles right now, self-published. This is where my number at?
But
hey, this is my social security number, man. You see the ISBN? Self-published. This dolo. You gotta believe me. You see, I believe in the most impossible things and go after them. Mm-hmm. That's the way you got to be in this world. You got to have big dreams, baby, at all times. Dream big, and that's the only thing that'll keep you alive. Thinking small is not going to want you here. You ain't going to want to be here. But when you think gigantic dreams, even if you don't reach them, you still reach some level of greatness. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going for the #1 motivational speaker. I'm sorry, the greatest motivational speaker of all time. That's my goal. And to save billions of lives, billions, because the internet has created a new wave where one soundbite can get viewed over 10 million times.
Powerproject family, how's it going? We talk about sleep all the time on this podcast. That's why we partnered with 8 Sleep mattresses. Now, this mattress is the Tesla of sleep. It's the Tesla of beds. Its technology tracks your heart rate variability. It changes its own temperature based off the way you sleep so that you get better sleep every single night. It is quite literally insane. Check them out. Andrew, how do they get it?
Yes, and before I do that, I wanted to let you guys know that you can actually set the bed to wake you up silently. I know that sounds weird, but actually the bed starts vibrating around your head and it doesn't wake up the entire household the way my phone used to do back in the day. So now I just kind of have the bed wake me up silently, and it's amazing. You guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/powerproject. That's EIGHT sleep.com/powerproject. When you guys go there, you'll see a banner across the top saying that you're going to receive $150 off automatically. So again, that's 8sleep.com/powerproject to receive $150 off your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast.
But that's why what you do is like, because some people, I think when they hear that somebody's a motivational speaker, some people are like, oh, that's not a big deal. Motivational speaker.
Oh,
right?
I'm glad you said that.
But the thing is everybody has such negative self-talk that's why like people love listening to that, because literally your voice is now playing in their head every single time some shit happens, rather than their own voice that would typically tell them to give up or typically tell them to just fuck it all. It's that voice that's changing the way they speak to themselves.
Absolutely.
It's a big fucking deal.
I got to tell you this, and I got a message. I'm going to do it right here on the Mark Bell Power Project. I want you guys to know, all you millionaires and guys that trade and do all this stuff and get all this money, I'm happy for you. But let me tell you something. All of y'all are a damn lie when you say you were never motivated. Every dream that was ever created was created with motivation. It could have been motivation by money, but it was some kind of inspiration. Nothing comes before inspiration. A baby can't even come without inspiration. Yeah. So don't dumb down our genre and what we do for the world, because your dollars mean shit when you cross those gates. God don't take dollar bills. He take resumes. What's on your resume? Part millionaire. What you do for the people? Millionaire. Because if you die right now, millionaire, nobody will remember you. They're just gonna say thank you for the money, Mr. DOA. That's the truth. You can't buy no legacy. You gotta earn that shit, huh, Mark? You can't buy no legacy. That's why a lot of those trainers and those workout guys love me, because they know you can't buy this. If they'd be buying arms and lats and shoulders all over the world if they could.
Yeah.
But that's what's so special about bodybuilding and lifting. You gotta earn this shit. And as soon as you walk in the room, some of them workout guys, they gonna look at you and say, you ain't the greatest. All those guys that walk around grunting in the gym, it's always a bad wolf howling somewhere around the world. So stay humble. But like I said, you can't buy no legacy. You got to earn this. And that's what I realized. That's why I don't get discouraged. Mm-hmm. Can't nobody defeat me. You can't defeat me. You ain't going to be better than me. All you can do is do your part. But I know if I bring something to the world nobody ever seen before, you can't recreate it. It's a reason why God gave me all these messages in my heart and my brain. Because you can't steal the copyright. You can't steal no paper. The only way you can get it is through here. It's all in me. So when I give you a message, it's going to be a one-on-one. It's going to be a one-on-one, only one of them.
I think for people that listen to motivational stuff or try to listen to motivational stuff and then put it into a category of stuff that they don't need, I think they just really need to try to give it a chance. Because from an outsider, when you're not in that, it can seem corny. It can seem phony because you're on the other side still. You haven't progressed. You haven't entered into this kind of warp zone, and you haven't bought in on the idea of self-belief. But once you start to get just a small fraction of that, that's when you start to find your YouTube feed, there's more and more and more motivational stuff. I listen to motivational stuff pretty much every day, and I have been for the last 10 years. I don't always feel that I need it, but it's there. If I do, a little inspiration. I found that some people, I'll share something from like David Goggins or someone like that with somebody, and it just doesn't land on them the right way at that time. And I'm like, if you can get past the fact that he's kind of yelling at you and just like listen to the words, listen to the actual words, you start to dissect it a little bit and you recognize like, this is really powerful information. And if you can't benefit from it, then I think that you're missing some of the picture because it's really phenomenal. Not just him, but there's many other people too.
And I think a lot of people ask me this question. I've been getting this question a lot in LA, me and AJ. They was like, well, what do you think that really, 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 really separates you from a lot of people? And I can tell people it's gonna be hard. A lot of people don't realize I probably read about 2.5 books my entire life.
It's 2 more books than me.
Listen. It's something about it. Like it's like, it's like original creativity. Everything is drawn from an empty canvas. And I realize what we put in our minds, it taints our masterpiece of what we're painting. And sometimes we add what another man would have added to the painting when we were supposed to add what we wanted to the painting. And then when the painting is all the way complete, we look at the painting and we realize that doesn't look like me. So when I create my motivation, when I come up with things like only in the womb of a woman can a man breathe underwater, when I come up with all these quotes that nobody ever heard, it's because I let nobody touch my canvas. Only God paints on my canvas. And when you read other things, it makes you think like they think. It makes you do what they do, but God gave you a different journey. We all got our own life. He created you to give the world something that you have, something that the world has never seen. But because you wanted to be a carbon copy, you will never see your original copy. And right now, the motivation that the world is getting, the inspiration that the world is loving, is an original copy. It's mine. Belongs to me and God.
What you got over there, Andrew?
I'm just
Getting fired up.
So a bunch of different things going through my head, but you kind of mentioned this earlier with the when you were speaking to kids about not having their dad around and be like, well, what would you rather have? Mm-hmm. But something that happened to your dad, with his brother, it's like, how do you tell somebody, like, because we talk about it all the time, like, dude, how long are you going to blame the high school coach for not putting you in the game? How long are you going to blame your dad for leaving? How long are you going to blame X, Y, and Z for why you're not successful, for why you're gaining weight, all these other things that people want to tie one tragedy to. Mm-hmm. So how do you tell somebody to get over that one thing that, again, like it's their identity now?
I'm gonna tell them, fly, die. Fly, die. Just like the eagle. Everybody love the eagle story. The eagle, when the baby eagle was born, they just throw the eagle out and they say, hey, eagle, fly.
Spread those wings.
Yeah, or eagle die. That's what I got to tell everybody in the world right now, bro. Right now, you're a bleeding individual. You're hurting. You're bleeding. You're laying on the ground. But guess what? The world's about to walk right over you, brother and sister. You look for so many people to change your life. It's only going to start with you. Until you learn how to take responsibility for everything that comes with your life, nothing will come into your life. You got to be addicted to this. Whatever you love. I tell everybody, you addicted to cocaine, you addicted to marijuana, you addicted to alcohol, you addicted to all these things, but when are you going to become addicted to your dream? It got to be an addiction. I'm addicted to this. I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning here on West Coast time. AJ will tell you, I'm up early, moving around, rumbling because I'm hungry. I'm addicted. I know that I only got one life, and the moment we spend feeling sorry for ourselves, we taking time off. How long you gonna take time off? How long you gonna keep blaming individuals for something that you did? Because a lot of people spend their whole life blaming another person, and it's only until they land on their deathbed that they realize it was their fault. And that's selfish. Apologize. Somebody out there just need to hear that word. Apologize. It's a man out there that likes to abuse his wife and do all these crazy things. Just tell her, you hurt my feelings. I learned this. You're not a man until you can control your emotions. You must rise above the thinking of your emotions into the thinking of God. What's that song? What's love but a secondary emotion? It's emotions that split husbands and wives up. It's emotions that cause bad relationships with fathers, daughters, and sons. Give a fuck about no emotions. I love you, son, daughter. But I'm telling you now, kings like us, we can't walk around in the emotional state, because that's how we die. You die when you're in an emotional state. It's a lot of young kings out here murdered in these neighborhoods because they couldn't control their emotions. They couldn't just say, I'm sorry. They couldn't let that kid go that ran off with that $400, $500. Who said $400, $500 is worth a person's life? The same individuals that walk around the earth as a boy. How can a young man ever know what a man is if all he sees is boys? and old ass men dressing like they 30. I don't know what you are. I don't respect you. Back in the day, when they used to walk around in their suits, all the young kids, the mafia kids, all the black kids, everybody, Bumpy Johnsons, everybody. When they put their suit on, those kids said, hey, that's a man. Now when that grown man walk in with the same shoes and jeans, they like, that's a boy. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We need more men to show young kings what a man looks like. And that's all I represent. I just tell them it's cool. Do you know how hard it is to get people? It's hard to get millions of people to listen to motivation. You see all those motivational people pages, that's fake, man. That ain't real. Do you know what it takes to get 1 million people to listen to you talk positivity? All that shit is fake, man. The likes, the views is fake. You know how hard it is to get this generation to listen, brother? It's like pulling the pin out of, what's that called? A pin out of a haystack.
Needle.
Yeah.
It's hard to get somebody to listen to motivation. Especially in the black community, because we ain't never listened to self-development. A few of us listen to Les Brown. But when you ask an average black person, you go into a neighborhood, you say, yo, you know what motivational speaking is? They're like, what? Rapping? You like, what? Oh, you talking. Because we taught in our neighborhood, what? Talk is cheap. No, talk is life-saving.
So then how do you change that narrative?
I'm doing it. Being original.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it 100. Going to the trenches. Going to the hood. The more successful I get, the more slums I go to. The greater I become, the more countries I visit. I went over to Kingston, Jamaica, one of the most dangerous cities in the world, and I slept there. Right there in Tivoli Gardens. I didn't sleep in a hotel. I slept in a gazebo that the Don, which is a gangster, built for me before I got there.
You'll like this quote. It says, man will never find God because he won't look low enough.
Yes, I did love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did love that one. And what I learned in Kingston, man, I learned if this floor was my bed, to smile and be thankful. That's what I learned. There's little babies right now running around in Jamaica, Africa, all over the world with no tennis shoes, no clothes. Nobody ever tell them they love them. No warm bed, never slept on a bed. And we got the nerve to sit over here and act like we got it bad.
My air conditioning broke. My Wi-Fi is not working that fast.
I spent that time in them trenches, man. I showered and took a bath out of a bucket. Went down there and got my water every day and took a bath. I ain't gonna lie, the last 3 nights I got me an Airbnb. But I was there for 2 weeks. And I was with the people every day. I spoke in places no other speaker in the history of speaking has ever spoke. I got the Ambassador Peace Award in Kingston, Jamaica. It's about 6 months ago. Spoke there 2-3 times already. When I spoke, the people followed me through the street. Thought about the story my mom used to tell me about Moses. And it's a song by the legendary artist Big Sean, my boy from Detroit. And he says, one man can change the world if he changed the world with the world. That's what I added to it. You can change the world if you change it with the world. You got to have your people stand next to you, not behind you. You got to give people a voice. The downfall to every organization that ever was created was because the person never gave his people a voice. And once you take a person's voice away from him, you take his life. That's all a person got to communicate. It's deep.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give them a voice. If you hold that in and don't let them bring their voice to the world, they're gonna rot everything around you. They're gonna start coming for your organization. They're gonna start thinking about ways to tear you down. That's what happened to some of the greatest leaders. The hardest thing to be is a leader. A lot of people say leader so loosely. A leader will sacrifice his for his team. A leader have a 20-foot long, and it's only and it's 100 of his soldiers in the room. And guess what? A tomato fell out. The leader gonna eat the tomato. His team gonna eat the bread. Because that leader was born with it. He was born for it. And by doing that, without having to force yourself on them, they give you the respect. That's why I tell everybody, like I talk to my dad say, Will, you could have been one of the biggest heroin dealers in Detroit with your mentality because you know how to lead people. Young men love you. That's what my father said. But he said, Will, I'm going to tell you one thing that our neighborhood never had. He said, we had hitmen, we had killers, we had robbers, we had all of these things, but guess what, Will? We ain't never had a international motivational speaker. And that was the greatest words my father ever told me. He said, you made history for us. A lot of us making history for our family. We might didn't make history for the world, but we made history for our families. Change the demographics and the way they view our families. And all it takes is one. And the rest will follow.
How does a person change within themselves? I think that was part of Andrew's question, was like, he knows that you're going and talking to all these places that are unconventional, but how does the individual, like what, maybe like what actions or what things you think would be important for someone to focus on, get rid of negative talk, get rid of negative people? Like, I don't know, what's some of your take on that?
For me, it's all about understanding who you are. You got to know who you are. A lot of people walking around, what's your heritage? Where are you from? What's your bloodline? What are your people known for? That's where it starts off. I think a lot of us is walking around as people that don't know who they are. I know who I am. I know where I'm from. If you knew what tribe or what army or who your great grandfather was, maybe you'll start to look at things a little differently. I tell all my young brothers when I go speak to the slums, I say, you are nothing more than unconscious. You don't know your history. You don't know your culture. You don't know where you come from. You don't know that you're an original lover and giver. So if you don't know yourself, you got to take time to learn yourself. And a lot of people, they're carbon copies. That's what I said in the beginning. I said what they did was they lived a whole life, chased somebody else's dream, and it didn't work. And now they're depressed. That's your fault. That's your fault. Because you wanted to be like them instead of loving who you are. Everybody want to dress and look like somebody else. That kills you. And another thing, they lie to themselves. They lie on the internet, pretend they got a life that they do not live, and when they lay down at night, they realize that I am nothing. I lied. And to lie to yourself is like putting a 12 gauge under your chin and blowing your brains out. Because you realize this fantasy that I created is never going to come to life. Then you don't want to live anymore. But guess what? God got a reset button. Guess what? Every day. It's an opportunity to repaint your picture. So if you had a bad day yesterday, take that portrait, rip it up, throw it in the trash can, pull out a new blank canvas, and start painting what you were born to do. And you'll finally see the picture for your life. The first step and the only step is letting go of the human being you want to be and grabbing the person you were born to be. That's the difference. Happy.
I think that's why it's so powerful where you mentioned like having kids write their story.
Mm-hmm.
Like having kids like, you know, if there's something you're trying to do, lay it out, write it out so you can see it and
Yes,
you can
sir.
envision it and you
Mm-hmm.
can head in that direction. But if you're just scrolling through social media, looking at other people's stories, it's like you'll never be able to head in that direction.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. And I tell everybody got a story out here. Everybody's story is an extra battery pack for another person's life.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody didn't live your life, somebody going through what you're going through right now, and you got the strength to get them through it. Open your mouth, man. The kingdom is voice activated. I don't tell nobody you can't do this. Everybody could do this. Everybody got a voice. And I'm telling you now, the most biggest fulfillment you get out of this industry is going in, speaking to these people, seeing all these people that have been through the same thing you've been through, and you just look up in the sky, you realize, damn, I ain't have it that bad. I'm gonna be okay. And all these people I'm riding with gonna ride with me, and we gonna be okay. So everybody that I talk to, I'm talking to myself. Y'all just happen to hear it. That's it. Try talking to yourself and see how powerful it is. They call you crazy.
Ask yourself questions.
They call you crazy. But sometimes in the neighborhood we grew up in, the only inspiration we ever got was from ourselves. That's why they call us cocky and arrogant. Because we grew up with no parents ever telling us they love us or nobody ever coming to the games. So you get that athlete that brag on himself all day, but you really don't see the inner kid that just wanted his daddy and his mama at the game. But now he's a big NFL star and he don't love himself. He still don't love himself, but he's so talented. But the number one thing he wanted the whole time was the love of mommy and daddy. But now he's what? Terrell Owens.
That was Shaq's story.
You feel me?
Shaq was like, "You're gonna know my name." You know, he said that to his dad.
So you gotta understand that. That's why I'm so impactful with the new generation, because I know, it's like I know God gave it to me. I've been through it. I lived it. I know what they going through. I know why you cocky. I know why you got that attitude, because the only person that ever said they loved you or you was the greatest was yourself. So how the hell you gonna tell me to stop talking about myself when I'm the only one to save my life? None of y'all did. I did. That's how them athletes think. There ain't nobody telling them they love them. They just tell them to go jump, go dunk the basketball, go run the football, go play football, even if they don't want to play it. They got to do it because this was the family says. It's a lot of athletes right now that didn't want to play football, great athletes, but they did it because they had to save somebody's life. Talk about in my football game. Some people play the game for Gatorade and cheerleaders. Some people play the game because they got to save people's life. They got to be the one. So if you don't know about having to be the one, you ain't going to understand my motivation. If you don't know about your life on the line, you might not feel my motivation. If you want real, if you don't like real, you ain't going to like my shit. Because I'm going to be 100 every day until the day I die. You could throw $30,000, $40,000 at me, and I'll throw that shit back in your face. I'm worth billions, baby. You can never buy me. You can't buy no legacy. Say it again.
Would you say, so kind of going back a little bit about changing narratives and that sort of thing, but like United States, we got like the most like depressed people like on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have like the most money on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
We all have it very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
So is the answer simply perspective? Does somebody have to go to another country to experience so much less to come back to be like, shit, I do have it good? Is it as simple as just changing the perspective of somebody to get out of this weird depression that we're all in? Well, not we're all in, but a lot of people are in
Mm-hmm.
when they have literally everything that you could ever ask for, but yet they wake up in the morning sad.
Well, for me right now, I look at the world. When I look at other people right now, man, I see, even like, for instance, children. Remember back in the day, we go to the store with $1, we can get a bag of chips, a juice, some gum, and some 9-laters or something like that. We can get a lot of stuff. Now, man, these kids, they go to the store, man, with $1. All they can get is a pack of gum. Like, it's a hard life for people now.
Mm-hmm.
And the television, the thing that tells lies to your vision, is the thing that's killing us more than anything. That's the number one, music and television. Music and television is the world destruction.
Mm.
So now you got individuals that know it ain't right, promoting music that's talking about killing each other. You're gonna pump a kid up so high in the media, and he's gonna pump out negative information and cause stress amongst the human race. Now, then you're gonna come back with a mass shooting at a high school that's gonna scare every kid around the United States, gonna make him scared to go to school. He don't even want to be out here. He got PTSD, what's it called?
PTSD.
PTSD. He got all of these things, and you want him to function in the classroom all day. The world is in pain, brother. We need a whole deprogramming of what's going on in the world. And the only way it's going to change is if all these trainers, all these motivational people, all these people come together. One thing about the world right now and the state it's in, we all going through the same depression, man. We are being attacked by our own government. How are we supposed to feel? How are we supposed to feel? We're being attacked at home when the object was to protect us. When in a million years have America, now you can say what you want about America, it's been so many different cultures and so many different groups and so many different evils, but one thing about America always fought for their people. No matter what it looked like, they fought for their people. And I can say it with everything in my body, our government is at the weakest it's ever been. We depleted. I love you, Sleepy Joe. But damn, Joe, this shit is made for the young, the hungry, the innovators. It's time for the new. Because what happened is the old did not appreciate the young. If you don't take care of the future, Sleepy Joe, the future won't take care of you. That's how it goes. And now we got people with outdated ideas for the world running it. It's like the kids we at our grandma, granddad house, like, granddad, you know we can do this shit way faster, but I'm gonna do it your way because I know that's how you like to do it. That's where we at right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll help you write that letter instead of just doing a quick email or text.
So when I say it's, man, that question got so many layers on it, man. And then I tell the people, I'm not mad at the people, man. Y'all doing a great fucking job in the pandemic that we in. People, families, people still fighting, but people still dying too. The one thing I would say is, as a message to America and a message to the world, man, we're fighting each other while other powers are fighting us. And that's what we gotta stop. At some point we gotta turn around collectively and say, You're not my enemy. They're my enemy. And until you realize that, we're going to stay in this place. We're going to stay in this place, man. We literally are at a war with each other, with another war coming at us. They used us to distract us from the problem. And we fell for it. But now I'm reminding you, I'm telling you, if you don't turn around, when you do turn around, there will be no more land, goods, food, services available. The only way we can live, our grandchildren, our sons, our daughters, is if we come together like yesterday. We got to come together like yesterday. White, black, brown, yellow, orange, we got to come together.
We got a good mix in this room right here.
We're human beings, man. That's all we are. We are human beings. I got a message this morning. AJ, my manager got a message and he was reading it, and his nephew back in New York, kid called him monkey. He called him a monkey all the way in 2022. And only way a kid can say something of this nature is if he heard someone that he respects say it. So I got to give a message out there. This was on my heart, and this is from King Hollis. For anybody that ever meet me, work with me, come around me. You people is considered the N-word to me. Monkey is considered the N-word to me. Animal is considered the N-word to me. And all I can say is, I am not Martin Luther King. I am the Django. So whatever you think, any racist or anybody that feels some type of way about pushing this terrible narrative out to the world, because give it up. There's white and black kids mixed all. I got cousins that's white and black. Who are you hating now? Your nephew? Racism is real. They just learn how to deal with it a little better. So what I say is, everybody that stands against racism, everybody that got mixed culture in their family, make sure you represent and you standing up for your family. Make sure that full-blooded white grandma and grandfather is sitting next to her mixed black grandbaby with pride. Or vice versa. All that is dead, people. God has shown us over and over that we are one. And it goes into the correlation of coming together. We got to come together. We got to love each other. We got to know who we are together. Because if we don't, man, I know, Mark, the years you lived, the journeys you took, I know you've seen the world change a lot, brother. Mm-hmm. And one thing I used to always watch these legendary bodybuilding and lifting videos. And one thing I noticed about it, I noticed so many different colors. It was always a brotherhood. Even back with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
It was always a brotherhood. Something that separated us from color. Something that we all can love together.
I remember the day after the George Floyd thing, I came into here, and one of our white lifters is a police officer, training with one of our guys that's black, and I'm like,
that's powerful.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's just cool to see.
Yeah. And I just, I want people to know that, when I talk about racism, I realize as a human being, as a grown ass man, I realize that everybody got a little racism in them. Black, white, orange, yellow, everybody using it some type of way. And we might not realize it, but we're using it. But what I realize is, man, why fight with somebody that's going to the same place that we're going when we die? You gonna fight here and love each other in heaven? You gonna hate each other here, but but love each other when you're going through heaven to be on your best behavior. And a lot of you guys, I gotta tell you this, and it's deep. Judgment is real. You living your life, you living wrong, you hurting people, you're not giving anything to humanity. Where do you think you're going when you die? You think you can think hell away? It don't work like that. You got to earn your seat in the gates, my people. And the number one way to do it, you might ask, this the coaching class you need to get, is serving. Serving will change your life spiritually, financially, all angles. It will change it if you buy into the process of serving the people. Mark Bell created the Powerproject, a gym that is free to the public. When he told me that, it blew my mind. Because I have a dream of creating my own Boys and Girls Club that's free. It's called Kings and Queens United. Of every low poverty area in the world, where they learn how to tell a story, learn how to do trades, learn how to be licensed trainers, barbers. I want to give a young man, a young woman a trade that they can use forever. And I just want to tell everybody out there, man, if you're ever in Sacramento, man, you got to stop by this gym because it was one of the most inspirational experiences I ever had in my life. The number one thing that touched me the most, like I said, was the free. Fitness is not just training. It's for mental health, man. It keeps people alive. So a lot of people, if they didn't have this gym, they probably wouldn't even be alive today. How powerful is that?
Andrew, I sent you an email. If you can pull that up. If you go like 20 seconds into this clip, I don't know if you know that you do this, but when you're getting real fired up, you start to make this little snarl. And it reminded me of the movie Rocky, when Rocky shows one of the other fighters how to have a snarl and have to have this like look like he's about to get into a fight, basically.
How far in?
Maybe like 20 seconds in. It's a short
It's
clip.
short,
Anyway.
so it's fine.
A good snarl.
Good snarl.
Snarl on your punches. Wait a minute. Rock. Rock, come here. Will you show this Latin language?
That's your face right there. You see his lip? You see him? Right
I know what
there.
you're talking about.
Yeah, that lip starts to move. It's powerful.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir, man. But Mark, man, I like I said, brother, from starting the shelter 8-9 years ago, man, not having much, bro. I'm truly honored to be on the show, man. Came a long way, and I hope we can work together and inspiring and bringing people together for a very long time for a very great cause. Like I said, man, this is like one of my favorite shows I ever done because it was real. The questions were deeper than what's usually asked. It's just about the story. You guys can imagine how many times I tell my story a year. But the most important thing I got out of here today was a true brotherhood and a lesson. A lesson to go after everything you want, everything. And Mark Bell, man, thank you for all you do, man, for the people, man, and what you do for the world, King.
I appreciate that. Andrew, want to take us on out of here?
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for checking out today's episode. Please drop us some comments down below. I know you guys are fired up for today's conversation, so I want to hear everything you guys have to say. And make sure you guys like today's episode. And
People already left and went to the gym.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, they're probably listening to this at the gym.
Yeah, right.
We get that a lot, so that's really cool too. And subscribe if you guys are not subscribed already. Please follow the podcast at MB Powerproject on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. Nsima, where you at?
Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, and Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Make sure to go find the Discord because we're over 2,000 members in Discord now.
Damn, son.
So go find that. Where can people find you? Where can people find your content? If people want to book you, how do they do that too?
WilliamKingHollis.org and also Instagram, William King Hollis, Facebook, William King Hollis. All my work is on Spotify. I got a Spotify playlist. I got Spotify albums. I got Pain and Purpose, The Darkest Hour, Hustle and Motivate, the collab that I did with the motivational channel Vibo. Shout out to Vibo. And Fearless Motivation albums, Motiversity albums. I'm everywhere, man, on Spotify. Just type in William Hollis and subscribe, follow, like. It's YouTube as well, William King Hollis. Just lock into everything. You want to book me, follow my manager, AJ Brown, and lock in, man, WilliamKingHollis.org. Book today.
You mentioned your mom being, I think, probably the most motivational person, most pivotal person in your life. But was there any of these other maybe speakers or maybe influences out there that really motivated or drove you at any certain point?
Myles Munroe.
I got to look him up. Yeah.
Myles Munroe. Myles Munroe and Les Brown.
Have you ever had an opportunity to share the stage with Les Brown?
Never had an opportunity, man. A lot of people don't know. Les Brown suffers from, he has cancer.
Mm.
So that man's a soldier. He's been motivating and inspiring a lot of these people around the world with cancer. So I want to give a huge shout out to Les Brown. He actually reached out to me while he was in the hospital getting a blood transfusion on one of my speeches called The Journey. And it starts off with, we didn't come this far, only come this far. And he said it re-motivated him in his spark to really go hard in speaking again, because it's not over until it's over. Man, like I said, he did I got what's it called? A documentary on YouTube with me and him. I got him in the studio recording on the way I record. And I would like to give give Mark a freestyle speech, man. Everybody know I freestyle my speech. I want to give Mark and the Powerproject a speech before I leave.
Go for it.
The Powerproject started by a king with only a dream. A dream to lift life over his shoulders and be the greatest version he's ever been. His first name is Mark, last name is Bell. That's what you will hear when you walk through those doors and hear those weights clinking. You see, that dream is born at the infant stage. The stage where nobody believes in you. And the only person that knows how great you are is God. You see, it takes time to become the greatest version of yourself. Trial and error is necessary to grow and be one of the greatest the world has ever seen. Will take blood, sweat, and tears, and years of pain, trial, and triumph. But I ask you a question today. I ask you, are you a gladiator? Are you a chihuahua? That question can only be answered by the grind, the belief in oneself to be greater than where he was born. The Powerproject, you won't ever forget it. Woo! Shit!
That was amazing. The weird thing is I was going to say the exact same thing about you. No, I was kidding. That was incredible. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Just on the fly, huh?
Freestyle everything, baby.
Can't wait to go strangle some people now. We got to let's fucking go.
Go get his book. Make sure you check it out. What was the name of the documentary on YouTube?
I think it was called Les Brown. Just put William King Hollis and Les Brown.
Oh, okay.
William Hollis and Les Brown documentary.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Oh, I forgot to ask. How'd you meet AJ?
Man, I met AJ. AJ was an inspiration. He is an inspirational speaker, a very inspirational guy that I was working with. He brought into the process, and I actually was working with him in coaching. I was coaching him, and I went down to New York. I flew into New York. All our coach clients I work with, I fly in and I work with them. But it's something about AJ. AJ was a person that liked to serve, and a lot of people don't know I built my whole brand without a team, without anybody. And, I could go out and get some of the top guys and some of the most popular guys, but I believe in kingdom building. I like building mine from the bottom. I like people who love what I do. And I want a person that represent and work with me that love and appreciate what I do. So with that being said, I believe that good product needs no gimmicks. I'm good product. So I gave it to my brother to move around, and not only move around, it's a beautiful thing, help feed families and build a business that helps a lot of people. I know I got a gift that can help. I travel, make $60,000 a show. And what's 15, 20%, to my people?
AJ, come on up here for a second.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, AJ shared with me something pretty cool. I think it's cool that he has his own little bit of a background story that I think is good for him to share, because you guys have both have dealt with a lot of hardship. So if you can kind of get up on the mic.
Yeah.
You said you were incarcerated for a couple years, right?
Yeah, wow, yeah. So
Can you get a little closer?
Yep. So
Sorry to put you
you're
on the
good, you're
spot
good.
so hardcore here, but
Yeah,
I
there
think
you
it's
go.
cool that you're finding like-minded people.
right.
I like
so
that.
Will and I, we have a lot of common history when it comes to our lifestyles, right? I went to the military, right? Served my country, combat medic, and my brain wasn't right, And I went to a point in life where my trauma of my childhood came up. And when you don't actually address that, when you don't speak as a man, right? When we're taught not to speak, we're taught to just grunt it out. You're a man. Keep going, right? And when I got out of the military, my brain wasn't right, okay? I remember how many people died around me, right? I remember the eviscerations. I remember who didn't get to come home. And they were overprescribing me. And I got into one big fight. And these things right here, they consider them weapons now, right? And I hurt somebody. But I did the best 3 years of my life. I got to be quiet. Got to think, and I got to write my story out and keep on writing it out. And I'm back in California again for the first time since I've been released from incarceration.
Wow.
I'm on stage with you gentlemen. All right, that's how you know God is good. And when you actually put your story out there, that's your testimony. You're that perseverance that you work through, and you can actually laugh about it, right? Don't cry about it. Like Will said, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fly or you're gonna die, right? And when you only have you, because you're the best thing that's ever happened to you, now I got 2 little boys. I got a 1-month-old at the house right now, right? But I got a purpose right now. I got a purpose to get this message out. I got a purpose to tell people about my boys. Because I didn't grow up with a dad. I grew up with a strong mother, right? Just like the rest of us here. Sometimes we have to remember who we are.
There's
We got to
that
tell
New York
it.
accent,
Right, huh?
Fucking
Tell our
beautiful.
3-year-old selves what's up, right? Tell your 3-year-old self, hey, you got this. It's okay. You know, when I tell my son, stop running, it's not because I don't want to see him run, right? But how often do we forget to tell ourselves, it's okay. Self-love, self-compassion, right? And Will and I met, and this is how we started kicking it off. He said, AJ, man, you're bigger than just a speaker. Yeah, I want you to help me out because I see your vision. I have vision. How do we collaborate this? And here we are today on the Mark Bell Show, you gentlemen, right? God is good. However you're looking at it, universe, whatever spirituality you're understanding, right? Understand that there's something bigger and greater than you. So keep on going towards it, right? Keep that goal in line. The vehicle might change. But when you have your story, you have your goal, when you write it out, you tell the best kids come from the bottom, look where you get to stand.
William, let this guy sleep every once in a while, all right? you guys are probably all fired up going around the country together.
AJ, man, tell them about our new book we about to drop, man.
Yeah, so Will and I, Anxiety and Me, right? So we're going to do a self-help collaboration of books. So let's talk about our feelings. Let's talk about that anxiety first. Let's talk about habits, how your anxiety builds your habits, right? How many times you go through a traumatic experience, that becomes your habit now,
Yeah.
right? That's how your habits are really taught, as about that negative nonsense. But know your habit loop. You can still have the same results, just change the routine. Come on, tell her 3-year-old self again how easy this is, right? So now we're going to build out books, self-compassion, right? And now we're going to get this message out to people. Hey, man, we got 2 brown and black brothers over here who know what it is to struggle. And honestly, you know, racism is a thing, but like Mark and I were talking about earlier, the disenfranchised is a thing. It don't matter about your damn color. All right? Because if you're in a part of that disenfranchised group, no matter what color you are, you're eating the same ramen noodles.
Hold on, one more thing. Hey, I love you, wifey, Sharita Hollis. I love you. I love you, babe. Shout out to her. Take care of me. Makes everything
Yeah, right. My better half, Brittany. Thank you for being home when I was.
You guys just don't want to get in trouble.
Oh man, we were buying flowers before we left. What are you talking about? We're making sure that they understand we love them.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it. The thing that you said about eagles, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but I think it is from Les Brown. He said, when an eagle soars at its very highest, you know what else it sees? Only other eagles.
Only eagles.
We got 2 eagles right here.
Only eagles.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
That is going to quote.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, man.